Talk to me. They like you.
The film starts at a party, where a man named Cole is walking through a house looking for his brother Duckett. Cole finds him locked in a room, so he breaks the door down and finds him shirtless sitting on the bed. As Cole goes in, Duckett says they are in here, and Pop said he is gonna hurt a lot of people. Cole tells him that Pop's dead, but Duckett keeps mumbling to himself. Cole then yells at everyone filming the scene on their phones and tells them to stop, and as he turns, Duckett stabs him. He then goes outside and stabs himself in the eye. Elsewhere, 17-year-old Mia is going through the second anniversary of the death of her mother Rhea, whom Mia believes suffered an accidental overdose. She lives with her father Max and doesn't communicate with him much after the incident. She gets a call from someone who asks her to pick him up. We then see Riley with his friend, and his friend tries to provoke him to smoke, but he declines. Mia then comes there to pick Riley up, and on the way back, they get scared of something. They come out and find a kangaroo on the street that has recently been hit. It is moaning in agony, so Riley tells Mia that they can't just leave it like that, and should put it out of its misery. She attempts to drive over the kangaroo's head, only to find herself unable to do so, and just drives around it instead, saying another car will come. Now when they reach home, they go to Riley's sister Jade, who was originally supposed to pick him up, and he says he is telling Mom. Mia tells her that they saw a dying kangaroo on the side of the road, but she notices that Jade is busy with her phone. Only then does her phone ring, and Mia asks her not to pick up the call. So she tells her boyfriend Daniel that she will call him back. Mia then shows her Haley's video and tells her that they are doing it again tonight. Jade says she can't go tonight, to which Mia gets upset and manages to convince her by saying it's her mom's Remembrance Day, and she doesn't want to remember all this by staying at home. Later, Jade's mom Sue returns home from work, and she apologizes that she couldn't get to her mom's thing. She then asks him how is her dad, to which she says she hates being around him as he is so depressing. Now as they sneak out, Riley also joins them. The scene then shifts to the party, which is hosted by Joss and Haley, and here we see that no one there likes Mia much. After some time, Jade's boyfriend Daniel also joins them there, and Mia also hugs him, calling him her ex-boyfriend. Haley then comes there and asks Jade if she wants to come grab a drink, and when she goes there, Haley asks her why has she brought Mia here. She says she is so clingy and depressing, and now she's flirting with Daniel, to which Jade says they are friends. Now when everyone gathers to start the game, Jade says let's fake another video. Here we learn that they are using a hand for this game, and Duckett gave it to Joss. Mia volunteers to go first, and they agree to it. They ask her to sit on a chair and then tie her to it, and Riley asks Jade what are they playing, to which she says it's nothing. Haley then tells them that as soon as she lets it in, it cannot go for more than 90 seconds, because after 90 seconds, they will want to stay, and if she dies while they are in her, they will have her forever. Haley then lights a candle to open the door, and to close it, they have to blow it out. Joss takes out an embalmed hand of a medium with writing scribbled on it. After this they all sit on the side and Haley asks her to hold it and say talk to me. She grabs the hand and says talk to me, and gets spooked out seeing the spirit of an old man in front of her. Seeing this, everyone starts laughing at her, and when she asks Haley what was that, she says that she doesn't know as it's different every time. Mia tells Jade that someone was sitting there, and says she is proving it. She then goes back to repeat the phrase, and everyone begins to cheer her. She grabs the hand and says talk to me, and this time she sees the spirit of a grotesque looking woman. Haley tells her not to let go and says let her in, and as Mia says so, she falls back. Now while everyone is enjoying all this, Mia appears possessed and she points to a corner and says there he is. She then in a creepy, threatening voice toward Riley says they like him, and then as she falls back, the door of the house opens on its own and then gets shut. Mia's eyeballs have become much bigger now, and she tells Riley that he is behind him now, and they all look back. She says he will split him. Only then does Haley tell Joss to get it off her, and when he tries to take the hand from her, he cannot, and Mia tells Riley to run. Only then do the lights of the house go off, and Mia starts screaming to run again and again, due to which everyone panics. Haley and Joss then manage to pull off the hand and another guy blows out the candle. Mia becomes normal and says that was amazing and everyone cheers for her. Later that night, Riley is very scared so he goes to Jade's room, but she refuses to let him sleep there. He then goes to Mia and asks her if can he hang with her. She asks him did the hand thing scared him, to which he says a bit. She then tells him about her recurring nightmare, where she is looking in the mirror and her reflection is gone like she doesn't exist. Riley asks her what the hand feels like, to which she says it felt amazing, and she could hear and see and feel everything, but she was in the passenger's seat. He then asks her how did her mom die, to which she tells him that she took too many sleeping pills by accident. Dad was sleeping on the couch and in the morning he couldn't open the door. Her mom was on the other side, and there were scratches on the door and wood under her nails. She tried to get help, but she couldn't. Later, when Riley falls asleep, we see a scary hand touching him. The next day at school, Jade goes to Haley and says Daniel wants to try the hand thing. Haley says they can't go to Joss's house as his place is trashed, so he is pissed. Jade says they can use her house, and Haley says she will see her at 10. The group later gathers at Jade's house, and Mia asks Joss where he got it from. He tells her it's the hand of a psychic that got cut off and embalmed. Haley says she heard it was the hand of a Satanist, and the other hand is just out there somewhere. They then begin the game and Daniel grabs the hand and says stuck to me. And as he says he lets him in, suddenly he falls back and begins getting possessed. He then tells Jade that he hates it when she touches him, and they all notice that he has been possessed by a lustful spirit. Seeing this, they all start laughing, but suddenly Daniel falls down, and when Cookie goes near him, he starts kissing her. Joss pulls that hand from him and Jade blows out the candle, and after getting up, Daniel tells them to delete the recording, but when they don't do so, he locks himself in the bathroom. After this, they all start playing the game one by one and enjoy it a lot. And seeing this, Riley and his friend James get excited and say that they also want to try this. Jade says no as they are kids, but Mia says what if they do it for 60 seconds? Riley insists, which leads to an argument between them, and she leaves. He then requests Mia to let him do it for 60 seconds and others also agree to this. Now as he grabs that hand and says talk to me, he gets scared seeing something. Mia says it's okay and asks him to just say it, and as he says I let you in, he falls back. He then gets possessed and says sorry to Mia and he didn't mean to hurt her and he misses her so much. Mia realizes that it's her mom's spirit, and when Haley says the time is over, Mia requests her not to stop, and Riley says he loves them both. He then begins choking and starts smashing his head against the table and nearly gouging his eye out. Seeing this, they all panic and try to stop him, and when Jade comes out, the spirit pushes Riley's chair aside and starts banging his head on a cupboard. Jade manages to stop Riley from fatally breaking his skull, and while they were all helping her, Mia goes upstairs, where she sees her mom's spirit outside the door, which disappears the next moment. They then call the police, and while they were investigating others, Jade informs her mother about the incident. Now when Mia's dad brings her back home, he asks her what happened there, but she doesn't tell him anything and locks herself in her room. However, we see that she had brought that hand with her. Meanwhile, we see Jade and Sue at the hospital with Riley. Daniel calls her out and she finds Mia there, and tells her that she doesn't want her here right now. Mia still tries to visit Riley, but Sue stops her and asks her to go away, blaming her for what happened to him. Now while she is leaving, she again encounters her mother's spirit, and enters the washroom following her. A door there shuts on its own and she hears her mom screaming for help, but when she opens the door, she finds nothing there. Now when she comes out, Daniel sees her and notices that she is not okay. He then goes to drop her home and tells her that his parents don't know about it, so he can't go home or they will know something is up, to which Mia says he can't stay at her home. Once home, she says she can't believe she spoke to her mom, and she is sure she was her mother because she used to call her Mai all the time. Daniel doubts that it was her mother and says the spirits could know everything about them as they were in them. Mia says they could check, to which he says he is never doing it again. Later, while they are sleeping, Mia has a dream in which she sees herself getting intimate with Daniel, and during this time there is a continuous sound of knocking on the door. Mia dads breaks open the door and finds her mom dead, and then she sees that her nails are broken and her fingers are bleeding, and suddenly she wakes up from sleep. She then sees the spirit of an old lady sitting in the corner of her room, who starts crawling towards her bed crying, and then suddenly grabs Daniel's foot and starts sucking his toe. Mia gets terrified seeing this and tries to wake Daniel up, but when he wakes up, he finds that Mia is the one sucking his foot and she is possessed. He jumps down from the bed in fear, and Mia also wakes up, and she tells him that whoever they contacted followed them. Daniel tells her she had his foot in her mouth and then he leaves there. Mia then takes the hand for herself and sets up her candle to try and speak to Ria's spirit. Her mom's spirit appears in front of her, and Mia asks her did she kill herself. Ria says that was an accident, and she never want to leave her ever. She then tells her that Riley is in pain and needs help, and then we see them both sleeping together. Meanwhile, Sue and Jade are bathing Riley at the hospital when their dad calls, and Sue goes outside to talk to him. Jade asks Riley to say something, but he is still possessed and bites her before falling to the floor and smashing his head against the wall in the bathroom. Jade screams for help and asks him to stop, but he continues smashing his head while laughing and then begins licking his blood from the floor. Sue and a nurse then rush in and tries to stop him. Later, Mia joins Daniel, Haley, Joss, and Jade, and Joss tells them that the guy who gave Duckett the hand said that if they die while they are in them, they have them forever. Mia tells them that she saw her mom at the hospital, and another spirit attacked Daniel at her house. But Daniel says when he woke up, Mia was sucking his feet. Joss says none of them have been seeing anything, so why would she see her mom? And she didn't even let her in. Haley says Duckett says they could imitate people, and Joss tells Mia that he got the hand off him at a party, and he said he was seeing them without it. He then went crazy and stabbed his brother and then killed himself. They then track down Cole, and Joss says they gotta talk about Duckett. Cole says Duckett actually thought he had friends, but they were using him. Joss says he knows it's a hard time for him but they need his help. However, Cole boards the bus saying he is out of it. They all board the bus after him, and Mia says she knows how much it hurts to lose someone that close. To which Cole says the people he let in messed up his head, and if he'd stopped doing that thing they would have left. Jade tells him that her little brother is in the hospital, to which he tells her that his body should kick them out, and that they get weaker the longer they're in. Jade gets off the bus angrily, and when Mia goes after her, she says she should not have let him do it and then she let it go for 2 minutes. She then says that she wishes that she didn't force herself into her family. Mia comes up with an idea to try and finish the game because she doesn't think they blew out the candle. She goes with Jade to the hospital to try and get the spirits to repossess Riley and find a way to pull him out, but it doesn't work. Mia asks what if she uses the hand to speak to Riley, as she thinks he is in limbo like other spirits, but they say it's a bad idea. However, as she grabs that hand and tries to talk to him, she finds the spirit of a little girl in front of her. Mia asks her if Riley is there, to which she says she can take her to him. She then lets her in and shows her that Riley is being tormented by dozens of other malevolent spirits. She then falls down, and when Jade asks her what happened, she tells her that she saw him and they're hurting him and they're never gonna stop, and then she angrily kicks the hand. Now when Mia returns home, Max approaches her and tries to come forward with the truth about Ria's death. He tells her that before passing, her mother left them something that he has been scared to show her. He then reads Ria's suicide note to her, confirming that her death was not an accident. As Mia cries, her dad tries to calm her down and console her, but she sees Ria's spirit there, who tells her that it's not true. Mia then goes to her room, where Ria tells her that Max wrote the note as a lie, and he is not even her dad. Max knocks on her door, but Ria says that it's a spirit imitating him and he is going to hurt her. She also tells her that Riley is suffering and can only be saved through death, as they are never going to let him go. Max then yells at her to open the door, and as he breaks in, it's really the evil spirits that attack her and try to strangle her. Max hears Mia struggling against Spirit Max and he enters the room, just as Mia tries to stab the spirit and ends up stabbing her father in the neck with scissors. The next day, Mia calls Jade and tells her that she knows what to do to save Riley. Jade says she thinks he is getting better, but Mia says she saw him and he is in pain. She asks her to come to her house and she will show her. Now when Jade leaves the hospital, Mia goes back to the hospital and talks to Sue. She tells Mia that she was never to blame for what happened to Riley, and she lets Mia be alone with him. Now as she leaves, Mia sees a scary spirit instead of Riley there laughing at her and says she found her. Mia says she is ending this, to which the spirit says she can't take him, as he is theirs. She tries to kill him with a pair of scissors but cannot bring herself to do it. The spirit asks her why don't she touches her, and that he wants to feel her. Meanwhile, Jade finds Max injured in his house, so she calls her mom and tells her that Max needs an ambulance. Sue tells her that Mia is here, to which Jade tells her that she is dangerous, and Sue finds that Mia and Riley are not in the room. Here Mia wheels Riley out toward traffic, seeing him as an old, decaying spirit. Jade returns and sees them and tries to stop Mia, but then Ria's spirit appears there and tries to make Mia push him. Mia ends up letting go, but Jade pushes her into traffic, causing a car to strike her. Mia wakes up, not realizing she is dead, and she sees Jade crying with Riley in her arms. She then finds herself transported to the hospital, where Riley has made a full recovery. Max also appears to be healed from his wounds, but as Mia tries to follow them, nobody can hear her as the lights in the hospital begin to go out. She then notices that her reflection is not visible in the mirror, and it gets completely dark there. She then sees a dim light, and she moves towards it. She finds a hand reaching out. When she grabs it, she finds herself facing a man in another country playing the Talk to Me game, and she is now part of it. Thanks for joining us on our horror movie recap adventure. If you enjoyed the chills, subscribing would mean a lot. Drop a comment to share your thoughts and keep the terror alive. Stay spooky and see you soon.